And then we're covering The Sunrise on the Reaping by Suzanne Collins. We're going to do chapters 1 through end of chapter 10. And just a few little trigger warnings, just in case anybody's watching and doesn't want to continue watching. It is a lot of loss, violence, child endangerment is what I'm really going to go with. Otherwise, let's get started. One fun thing we can do before anybody gets here is our wheel spin for our test quiz. So I'm going to go ahead and do that. And then whoever wins gets a book kitty sent to them like usual. Hold on 1 second. Can you guys see the little spinner? Yeah, cool. All right, let's do it. Robin won. Oh, how fun. Oh, great. Wonderful. That's exciting. She's supposed to be here tonight if she can got a hold of the book. So I'm gonna go ahead and stop sharing and come back to you guys. Um, so we have Amber. I'm not sure she came back in, but she's new. She's a wonderful friend of mine I've had for years who loves books. So a big, happy, cozy, corny welcome to her. Everybody else is some old faces that I'm so glad to see back. I guess the only thing we could go ahead and start into, like we always do, is just let you know, some people haven't read the original Hunger Games. So if we can be a little careful with not spoiling anything there, I know it's really, really, really hard. And then the other thing is some people have read the whole book. And so if you have, try not to go too far past the end of chapter 10. Okay. So I'm going to go ahead and just put you all, you know how I'm horrible with the alphabet. Go ahead and just start asking people. I won't call on Amber since, she's brand new, but let's just go ahead and I'm just going to start with who's first for me. So, Melissa, do you have any favorite quotes or things that really stood out for you so far?
All right. I was actually typing a message, but first I want to say hi, everybody. Hi. I'm so happy. I read the book when it first came out and I didn't get to refresh, so I'm probably not going to contribute too much because I do not want to spoil and I don't remember where chapter 10 ended, but I did want to hop on and be a part and see everybody. So once I get the book back, I'll start reading again so I know where to stop so I'm not spoiling anything.
Totally understand completely. Thank you. How about you, Jessica? Did you have any favorite moments or like a quote that really hit you in the feels?
Um, so I'm kind of at a deficit here. I do not have the physical book. I had the audio book, so I feel like I'm like, let me recall, like, what did I hear today?
Right?
One of the things that did really stick out to me was how it feels like Hamish is hearing a lot of things like kind of like there's like an undercurrent of propaganda thought that's kind of like infiltrated just his everyday way of thinking. And then I also really liked um, the song that Lenore is, he talks about her singing that it just reminds me very much of like union chants that we did when we were striking, etc. So I was like, that's really, it was just fun.
That was something that really hit me too. I love that. It was something that I really like enjoyed hearing, especially since some of her songs are kind of like political, you know.
Mhm.
They have a lot of feelings behind them, so I love that part too. You're not alone in that. Gwen, how about you? Did you have any favorite quotes or anything that stood out to you?
I really liked when he was with Prorich and he was meeting Snow, and Snow needed the milk, and how he drank the milk and said, "This is my one chance to, take some power back. This might be my chance to save us." That really kind of gave me chills and like made me think of like how something so small can be so powerful, and how he was just grasping at straws.
Yeah.
So that was something that I really enjoyed.
Yeah, absolutely. That was a very disturbing part so far. That was the hardest part for me to read. Jameson, how about you?
There we go. It's been a while. I figured it out. um, I'm trying. I I didn't write anything down, so I'm trying to remember. I remember I love the song about the geese as well, but I when Maisily said I would rather be despised than ignored. Like I know she's probably not everyone's favorite, but I like that hit me. I'm like, yep, that's I love that. And she says none of us ever had any choice ever. Like that's like that
Another one.
hopelessness of that. I think I just like the Appalachian references. Like that when Hamish is describing that birthday cake that his mom used to make, my grandmother used to make apple stack cake. That's what that is.
Oh,
Like like it's knowing what it is, like it's a lot of work. It's not just a cake that you make that day and then do like you have to make this cake and it's like a layer of like 6 or 8 really thin cakes and you put apple filling in it and you have to put it in the refrigerator for like a day or two because it absorbs the moisture from like the apples.
mm,
It just speaks to like this was a labor of love. This is how we say we love you. We make you food. And
yeah.
in Appalachia, that is how we say we love you. We make food for you. Um, and then I love the use of all fire, as in like I love you like all fire. I had never ever heard it used that way. Like my grandma used to say, like, you're so all fire angry about this, or you're so all fire excited about this, but like, and what she meant was like, slow down, take a minute, because it's like, yes, excited, but to the point of like, this could be disastrous. And I love that that's the word that they're using. Like, I love you like all fire. I thought that was really
I do
fantastic because
too.
I'd never heard it used that way before.
I do too. It hit me too. My family had also said don't have any experience in Appalachia, but my family did. So it's kind of comforting. It's kind of like going home. Also, I love Mansley. I most like Lenore Dove, but if I had to like pick a favorite, her hands down. I would rather be a villain that stuck to herself or not liked and true to myself any day. Welcome, Melody. You didn't miss much. All I asked is if we could record, and then I did the wheel spin for the quiz, and Robin won. That's really all that you missed. Did you have any favorite quotes or anything that really stood out to you? I know, didn't you and Jameson graduate from the same high school? You guys are in the same area, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. Yeah, we're both District 12 all the way.
Mhm.
I strongly believe District 12 was based in Appalachia. That's just where it is. I'm not big on quotes and books. Like I read things and I see them, but if I try to pick out a quote that I like, that's all I focus on.
Yeah.
So I'm not really going to have favorite quotes for any books. I read this book when it first came out. I was going to reread it for the meeting, but I didn't get around to it.
Yeah.
So it's been a little while since I read it. I did like anytime they try to like the tributes try to put it to the Capitol. Like,
Mhm.
they do what they can to like make them pay.
Yeah.
Where was it Luella gets killed in the entrance. Yeah, and he runs, so in each book there's something like that. And
Yeah.
that was just one of them.
When I looked at him like that, like Jameson's reference to all fire, it's that passion of love that like fueled him to be fearless to do that. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, really hard moment. Nikki, how about you? What are you thinking of the book? You have any favorite moments? Anything you really love? Quote? No, sure.
There we go. New
Yeah.
iPad, still trying to figure it out. I am one of the ones that have already read the book. I listened to the audiobook version of it. So I don't quite remember where chapter 10 leaves off. And this
Mhm.
week was like crazy busy, so I didn't get a chance to pick up. So I'm just kind of here chilling today.
Yeah. I
I
love
do
all
gotta
your
say,
stuffies. Uh-huh.
oh dude, they're like all over the place.
Oh my God, they're so cute.
They span the entire bed. Um I was just sitting here with my husband and I found it so funny how Jameson and Melody say Appalachia, or you guys say Appalachia, and how you were saying Appalachia, just because we have that same argument all the time. Because I say Appalachia.
Me too.
That just,
But
it
my
made me giggle.
family, I think, said it the other way. Isn't that weird how our Midwestern spin?
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Well, see, I'm from central Pennsylvania originally, and we all say Appalachia there.
Yeah.
So
Oh,
it
that's
made me
interesting.
giggle.
Oh,
But yeah, no, I'm just hanging out today listening. I'll chime in as I can, but I don't want to give any spoilers away.
yeah, that's totally fine. Absolutely. Thank you so much for being here.
You're
Hi,
welcome.
Tiff. It is so good to see you. I cannot tell you how much I missed your presence. So I'm so excited to hear your thoughts.
So I only have one quote. So I highlighted a few things that I thought were like interesting, like how he says in the very beginning that he's like, I'm not one for the bottle. And I was like, that's interesting foreshadowing.
Hmm.
So I highlighted things like that, but the only thing that I really took as a quote was like there's a part where he is talking to Lenore Dove right before the reaping, and he's like talking to her about making plans in the future with her. And he's like, that's how people are supposed to plan their lives is by figuring out the future. And she says, and that's the part of our trouble, thinking things are inevitable, not believing change is possible.
That's the quote I picked.
So,
Yeah,
um, that one really struck me, just because we do often take things for granted that they're just gonna like be the same in the future, right? And that's how we make plans for the future. But so that was a quote. But then I think what's really struck me so far is kind of building on what Gwen mentioned, where people have to do the things that they can to control their situation, and they have very little control over their situation. And so it's really sad at certain times where it's like they want to feel emotion or
mhm.
they want to like feel something or be angry or whatever, and they literally have to stop themselves and go, but I don't want to give that to the capital.
Right.
So it's like they don't even have the ability to really like process things as they happen or feel any kind of way about anything because they're not trying to give that propaganda to the capital. So that's
I
something
know.
I'm thinking
I
about.
felt that too. I picked up on it. The one of the things that Hamish had said is he tells himself, so don't feed the nightmares, don't let yourself panic, don't give the capital that. They took you enough already. It's like they almost have to like swallow it. They're not allowed to process it because if they entertain it at all, there's nothing they can do about it, you
Mhm.
know? Cicely, welcome. Hello. It is so good to see you. You haven't missed much. We did the wheel spin to find out the contest winner. That was Robin. I asked if it was okay to record. Amber is here this evening. She's one of my wonderful friends of many years, so the new member. But I wanted to ask you, do you have any favorite quotes, any favorite moments?
So I'm forewarned is forearmed. I'm behind. I've been working a lot, and so like a lot of days in a row. So I've
Yeah.
been reading the wrong book, not the book club is going on, but I have it on the audiobook and the Kindle book so I can catch up. So don't worry about spoilers for me because I'm so tired I'll forget anyway. But I like Lenore. I
My
like her. I like a sassy lady.
Mhm.
Um, and so but because I read the trilogy that came before this, I feel like something bad will probably happen to her.
Oh, I know. That's going to be a question that I have. That's one of my questions for what your who your favorite character is and what you think is going to happen to them. But
She's gonna
yeah.
die.
Mm-hmm.
She's
Mm-hmm.
gonna die.
Yeah. Thank you for being real
Um,
about it. Because I don't want to admit it.
that's always how it goes in the book. For a boy to become a hero, his love interest has to die horribly. That's the rules. Someday I'll write a series of fantasy fiction where the woman is the hero, and instead of someone dying horribly, she's just like, he's kind of mid.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Hmm. Absolutely. Absolutely. Amber, did you have anything? You do not have to be on cam to put your audio on if you'd like. But if not, you don't have to. That's never an obligation.
Of course. Hi, everybody. I am gonna stay off camera if that's okay. I've been feeling under the weather today.
Oh,
Um, but I feel like I kind of relate to Hamish and some of the stuff that he does. So my favorite part so far was when he grabbed um, Luella and laid her in front of President Snow, kind of like, this is what you wanted type thing.
yeah,
So
it's
that's
powerful.
probably it is. And also when he drank the milk, because I would have done the same thing.
Yeah, you
I can't even
definitely have that defiance in you. I see that completely.
I
Absolutely.
can't even I can't even drink regular milk, but let me tell you, I would in that instance.
Yes, a big old screw you. Yeah, I could definitely see you doing that. Absolutely. I hope
Yes.
you feel better, by the way. My only other quote that hasn't been shared, all right, was about Lenore, and Hamish says it. And he says, like all the Covey, music is in her blood, but not like them too. Less interested in pretty melodies, more in dangerous words, the kind that lead to rebel acts, the kind that get her arrested twice. Um, she just really is on my radar, which, yeah, Cicely's right. I'm a glutton for punishment. You guys know me. I always ship the person that's going to have the worst tragedy. So I'm not shocked by that. So the second question is one I put in the post, but I'll go ahead and just reread it real quickly, is if you had to pick, now we all know Jameson and Melody are diehard District 12, but if you got to choose where you could go based on what they do, would you choose another location? So you have, technology, luxury, coal, different types of fishing. Like, is there any place that you would feel more at home at other than the capital or District 12? And why? Also, I do have a question if anybody has an answer. The Covey, are they travelers? They're not, are they in a district? Like that little group of musicians, is that to District 12 and then they just branch out and move around? I'm just curious, because that's where I feel like I would feel most at home. But we'll go ahead and start at the bottom. We'll start with Tiff.
I feel like and I don't know, they haven't talked a ton about the Covey, but I feel like from the way they described it, it's like they used to be wanderers that went around the districts, and then with everything that happened, they like got stuck in 12.
Yeah,
That's
I think you're on
what
to
I
something. Yeah,
feel.
I think so too.
Um, I am the biggest tech geek on the planet.
So
So
District 3.
I would be a District 3 girl all the way.
Yeah. That's what I chose too, because I don't have brawn. And if I'm going to defeat the capital, it's going to have to be with knowledge. And I feel like that would be the best place for me. How about you, Nikki? Where would you want to go? Or where do you feel like you would belong the most?
Let me go fishing.
Hmm?
I
Yeah,
said, let me go fishing. I would love to fish.
yeah. That's wonderful. I feel like it's somewhere aquatic.
Hmm.
So because they had like aquatic attire they were talking about. Melody, so we choosing District 12 or we just was that where you were put naturally?
When I was thinking about that question, like my first instinct is like, oh, I want to be by the ocean, but then I have to remind myself it's not a vacation and I can't swim. So probably not a good idea. District 12, I think, is where I could do the best because I know like the plants and, I'm familiar with the landscape and the environment. So I think
I
I
think,
could do better there.
yeah.
And Tiff was right. The Cubby used to be travelers. They used to go from district to district and entertain. And then they got shut down and stuck in District 12.
Okay. Yeah. So
Yeah.
I would definitely still pick 3 then because I would last a day in District 12. I do have no know-how on how to survive in that kind of environment. I would, it's beautiful but there's no way. How
I'm not
about
saying I'm
you?
going to survive. I'm just saying that that's probably my best chance.
That would be your best chance. I think you're a hell of a survivor, just FYI. Melissa, how about you?
All right. I'm going District 10. Give me
Okay.
livestock all day long. Let me play with the animals, feed them, pet them. That's my vibe for sure.
Yeah, I feel like that's like farm, living and things like that. I feel like they don't have that plentiful in District 12 in the way that we have it here in the United States. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
But yeah, I contemplated that, but then I thought I'm gonna get attached to these animals and they get shipped to the capital. That was
Yeah.
my only drawback. Can't get attached to technology. So that's why I was like,
There's new
yeah.
little babies, hopefully, that come in when you cycle.
Yeah. How about you, Jessica? I'm really intrigued what your answer would be. Something telling me that you would want to be near the forest, but you might choose luxury.
So I I feel like I would love to be in luxury, but I have a mouth and there is no way. I would be murdered immediately. For not being able to just be quiet and watch people commit atrocities. I feel like I would probably end up in either like agricultural or livestock. I mean, I'm running a mini zoo as it is.
Right.
Um, and I feel like that or like textiles, but like probably livestock.
hmm Yeah, I could definitely see that. Jameson, do you feel like you would definitely still choose 12 because it feels like home, or do you think you'd choose somewhere else?
I'm kind of like Melody. I would visit other places, I think, but I'm in District 12. I feel like that's where I would thrive. That's where I could survive. Like it's fun to visit the ocean, but I don't like to fish. I don't like to do that. I don't really want to pull fish out of the ocean, and I just don't want to.
Right.
Yeah, I don't know. Like I miss home on a regular basis living in the city. Like I miss it all the time. I probably won't ever get to go back, but in an ideal world, I District 12, yeah.
Maybe you can retire there.
We'll see.
We'll see. Gwen, how about you? Did you have a place that felt more like your type of vibe?
Probably District 3 would be the technology would be probably closest.
hmm
I'm pretty computer smart.
hmm
And I pick up on things.
hmm
Not necessarily the most technology, not the most educated in this area, but I learn really quickly.
You would adapt to it.
Hmm.
Yeah, I think that's valid. Yeah, absolutely. Cicely, how about you?
The mouse wasn't moving where I wanted it to go. I put the farm thing, but really I grew up fishing and
Yeah.
like salmon fishing in the rivers, so I'm pretty fair at it. I could do that. I'd be all right. But hilariously, I'm not from coal country. I could do District 12. I'd be okay.
I could see that for you. You go out to the
I'm a hard labor
camp.
girl. I
Yeah,
wish I wasn't.
I could
I
see
want a
you.
fucking poetry district or something like, come on, arts district. Give me something I can do.
Yeah, I think I
But
can see
no,
that. Yeah.
fish or labor.
Honestly, you're really Nikki. Yes, library district.
Yeah,
If
I
only,
would be great in the library
right?
district,
Right?
but
I
I
know.
would go to prison for my mouth immediately.
Yes, speaking of that, when they're in Plutarch's house, his library that they're talking about when Snow's in there, I'm like, oh, what kind of books do they got in there? Some band stuff. I want to get in there. Amber, how about you? Do you have a place where you would vibe best?
I am pretty sure I would survive in District 12. I grew up in areas or an area like that. Um, I'm not, I don't want to say I'm not like street smarts, but I guess I am kind of but I'm also think outside of the box smart.
Yeah. You
So
know,
I can use my surroundings. So
I think you make a really good point. There are people there in that hub that do apocryphy kind of thing. And with you being, like a pharmacy person, like you might find your whole little row of medicinal plants and things there, like a purpose.
Yes, I would definitely be messing with that. And then just Jameson, I don't want to fish either. I don't want to have any part of touching any of that.
I understand. I understand. I even have to bait worms for Gwen. So I get
I
it. I
make
get it.
if someone else will bait everything for me and take it off the hook, I will fish all day long.
Yep.
But
I totally see that and I hear that a lot. I wanted to ask Tiff's question, and I really appreciate you contributing it because one of the ones that you put on was not something I had considered. But what parallels did you see in how the narrative is shaped in the media in the book versus their real life? So they even talk about, and I hope I'm going in the right direction with this, Tiff. Please let me know if I'm not. But they talk about the whole thing with Luella. It's not, it never gets aired. Like they kind of distort what these people see. And it almost kind of relates to like our current world and just like your thoughts about that and if it gives you any type of feelings about it. And we can start back with you, Amber.
just as you were about when you said that it pertains to what's going on in our world, like that's immediately what I thought of is like they're just showing you what they want you to see and not what's actually happening. So,
You know, it sucks really bad. You never know what to trust
yes.
anymore.
Right.
Cicely, how do you feel about it? Does the onslaught of news, especially with everything that's been going on lately, does it get to you or do you just not feed into it?
No, it gets to me. Like I think a lot of you know, but I grew up with very liberal people. My mom is an activist. Like we joke that she's the hottie of the Occupied Everett movement.
Hmm.
Um, and so it gets to me. And also, like in some regards, they're coming for my children. So I am at my most like frothing at the mouth, ready to go to war as a mother.
Yeah,
So I have to limit some of my exposure to the news so that I don't
pop off.
lose it.
Yeah,
Right. But I think all throughout this author's previous books, and I'm sure through this one is going to echo as well, that dissonance between reality and what we're told is reality.
hmm,
So whoever is in control of the news is going to spin it to how they want you to think, but also how they want you to feel. Because humans are most likely to react with our feelings rather than our intellect. Like we know a lot of things, but if you get people riled up, you can count on them doing something
yeah.
probably stupid.
Yes, all fire.
Yeah, so like get them going and
Yeah,
then cut them loose.
right.
So
Yeah,
yeah, no, I
happens a
have very
lot.
strong feelings about this stuff.
Yeah, me too. I have some intense ones and I have to limit my exposure too. I hate to do that, but I have to try to very thin line or I get real kind of like conspiracy and wackadoodly.
Yeah, no.
I get too
Oh,
passionate about it.
yeah.
Yeah, and they are coming for our babies, and that gets more serious. Gwen, how about you? How did you feel by the fact that that whole display with Hamish, like was completely just omitted? And then they created that like person, the conditioned of
The Lulu,
Lulu.
they created Lulu.
Yeah.
Well, I mean that just, I mean it just disgusted me, and it made me just, I felt for Hamish so badly in that one. And when he was just like, in the way he just was like, okay, this isn't her. We're going to call her Lulu because this isn't her. And how he just adapted with that. And he's just so, he just keeps adapting and keeps adapting and keeps adapting. And I thought that's very courageous. And he just keeps showing his courage. And like, is beginning to see where all this trauma is coming from as you see him later on throughout the series. So you're beginning to see, and I'm sure we're going to continue to see more. I haven't read beyond chapter 10, but I'm sure we're going to see more trauma. But and with the news, I don't participate in the news much because it messes with my mental health so badly. That if it's important, I rely on you to tell me. And then I know. Until that point, I just can't. It just makes me too much of a wreck. So
I think you brought up a really good point. There are a lot of people in this little group here that even are online that got Hamish as their person, their result. And I can see a lot of that courage, that tenacity, and so many of you. I admire that so much in all of you. And I admire him. I always have in every book. I'm not like him at all, but he's what I love in people, But I think you're right. He's extremely courageous. How about you, Jameson? What are your feelings on the book media, our media?
It's very like I was writing the other day and I wrote a line, something to the effect of that they are editing the truth as it happens. Like they are editing it as they are saying it on the news. And it is terrifying. Like it reminds me of like 1984, like the whole war is peace and like, it just it makes me angry, but it makes me scared. Like I will survive, but when you come for my kids, I'm terrified. Like it's terrifying to me. And I feel like I have to have a plan in the back of my head. Like, what am I going to do? What am I going to do to protect the people that I care about? Um, and I hate that. And I do the same thing. Like, I can't remember the last time I watched the news because it's just infuriating. And then the other thing that struck me was when he said, we don't have a lot of books in District 12.
Mm-hmm.
And they are trying to ban all these books. And I get that that doesn't mean that there aren't copies of it. But my brain, my crow brain is like, I must hoard all the books because what if we can't what if we don't have access to those anymore?
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know how far, I hate that I don't know how far fetched that is. It's terrifying.
I don't think that it's far-fetched at all. I love that you mentioned 1984. Societal conditioning is primarily used through media. And like Cicely said, like it evokes emotion. It makes us do things. And what scares me is like as Gen Xers, like we kind of know that, but our kids, like the new, like alpha generation, means like new baby, they don't know. Like this is reality for them. It's like news when we were young. You know what I mean? That's what's so terrifying. They don't know that it's not real. It's not safe. What is it doing to them? Is where I get a little scared. How about you, Jessica? Like, I know you're like me. You kind of internalize it a little bit.
So I internalize a lot. And like a lot of people in this group, all three of my kids are queer in some way, shape, or form. One of them is trans. I'm scared. I'm pissed. Um, I really thought better of our culture as a country, and I don't know why. I'm smarter than that, but um, the media in the book to me is just absolutely what is gonna be Fox News in like 5 years.
Mhm.
Um, I feel like it is just so absolutely converse to the truth, so pervasive. Um, I have to really like limit my news and media exposure to a certain degree.
Yeah.
But I've also got kids that are not so young that they don't know what's going on. All three of my kids are on the verge of adulthood. So I feel like I have to stay somewhat informed so that when they have questions or concerns, I can address them. So I'm like I really curate where I get my news from. Like there's Heather Cox Richardson That's pretty much where all my political news comes from. That and like the Alt National Park Service, and South Park. I realize it's not a news source, but it makes me feel a little bit better.
Yeah,
So, um, but
absolutely.
this is just I feel like I see us media wise and culturally wise just like barreling towards the Handmaid's Tale,
Yeah.
where we are all segregated, or a situation like the Hunger Games where we were divided into districts. We're just resource producers. That's it.
It's so disturbing. Even with Jameson's comment about banned books, they don't really have a whole lot of print newspapers available anymore. I'm not sure if anybody else has noticed that, but it's not, the news isn't really wrote down on anything solid anymore. So it can be
God.
changed and distorted at any time. It's rare to find that stuff. It's so odd because it was such a big part of my life. The newspaper came to my front door all throughout my childhood. And it's like trying to find the Columbus Dispatch is like almost impossible.
Yeah.
Crazy. Melissa, do you have any feelings about it?
Yeah, actually, we were just kind of talking about this, my wife and I, that the news really isn't news anymore. And I think you see that in the Hunger Games and in Sunrise on the Reaping, is that it's all very controlled or spun in a way that it supports a certain type of, like Fox News, very Republican. Then you got, CNN, it's all controlled. So, and same with the Hunger Games, it's all spin, what gets televised, what doesn't, on a delay till it fits a narrative. It's not really, and it doesn't have to be credible anymore. It's just kind of more opinionated or more entertaining to fit who is watching versus what's really accurate. So you have to do a lot of your own research
And critical
to say,
thinking.
okay, who is this? Who's telling me this? Does this match what's really happening? Or is this just so geared towards a certain thing? And
Yeah.
kids these days don't know to really look at that. They're just being fed all this information and they're taking it as facts when you don't have to have any sources for these things. It could literally be Trump's having a meeting with Russia. This news source is saying it went well. This one's saying it went terrible. Where's the truth really at? Because it's so opposite on each side. And that's what the Hunger Games is as well. And Sunrise and Reaping is, it's just so different to fit what they want you to know, not what is really happening.
Yes, absolutely. 100%. It's such a good question from Tiff. I got thinking about it and I'm like, they cause cognitive dissonance in these people. Like they feel like they can't fight anymore. They don't know what's real anymore. They just have to obey because of fear. It just, so much of that is programmed through what they see because they're segregated in these districts. They don't get to communicate. It's pervasive. It's really hard to think about. Melody, how about you?
Yeah, I'm definitely agreeing with a lot of what people are saying. I do somewhat limit my news exposure. Was it Jessica that said Heather Cox Richardson? I listen, that's where I read a lot of my news. And if I want US news, I go to the BBC.
I do too. It's the only, because it's
BBC
not here.
and Al Jazeera. Those are the two that I trust more than anything in this country, because you can go to Fox, you can go to CNN, you can all the MSNBC, and they're all going to say the same thing but very, very differently.
Exactly.
And
Exactly.
I feel like the outsider has more of a general outlook on what's going on. They can kind of see and just say, okay, this is what we see. This is
They're also not mandated by our rules to, like, if it's coming from the BBC, they don't have to follow under our Trump's laws or whoever's laws for the
yeah.
media. And it's like a little bit more reliable for me. But even then, it's kind of like, this doesn't seem right.
Yeah.
I still question it. So,
All my life, dystopian fiction has been my favorite genre. I've read it since I was a kid. When I was little, my dad gave me Brave New World and I just devoured it. And from there, it was just on 1984, Fahrenheit 451, all those. And as I've gotten older, every single year, the divide between what's dystopian and what's current has gotten so much smaller. It's terrifying.
I know. It gives me goosebumps when you talk about it because I felt that way for a while now. And
Yeah.
sometimes I feel like I'm like a conspiracy theorist. I tell Gwen I sound batshit because I'm going on a rant on this. But honestly, like there's validity to it, you know?
Yeah, and a lot of these books were written as a warning, not as an instruction manual. You
Yeah.
know, and that's not what's
You're the
going
one
on.
that you're the one that got me to read all of those recently.
Oh,
And
good.
and they're addicting. And I think the reason why it's like we're looking for like Jameson said, I need to have a plan. What do I do now? And like these books kind of give you a relatable stand, like a place that feels solid to maybe have some type of instruction or plan, you know?
Yeah.
Tiff, since this is your question and it was brilliant, I'm just so curious what your viewpoint was, why that struck out to you so much.
I just think about like where we are at today and like how, the media. So obviously these things were done intentionally, right? There's 12 districts and they're all kept away from each other. That's on purpose because if you put all of those districts together, you have more people than the government to
Mm-hmm.
overthrow them. So let's keep them all separate, right? And then, the people that are at these closer districts that have the resources, the money, they have everything that they could want or need, they're not going to fight anybody. Why? Because they have everything they want or need. So why would they fight anything?
They have nothing to fight for.
Correct. And so it's like these districts that are further back and they don't get any of the resources. They're not getting anything they need, but they can't even really see what's going on. Like I think they said that I think that Haymitch was talking about like the very first District 12 winner. They don't even know who she is because they didn't have TVs at the time, so they couldn't even watch
No
the
idea.
Hunger.
Right.
So all of that is very intentional because otherwise, if people realized what a shitty state they were in, they'd be able to come together. And I'm like, that makes me think so much about the United States.
Yes,
If
right.
if we all realized together that we're in a really crappy place and we came together that way, but because of the way that media spins things, and it's like it comes back to like I think a lot about one time I heard somebody talking about the way that sometimes the government or media will spin things is to convince you that something that's wrong with the government or the way that the government's doing something or the way rich people are doing something is the fault of this random person over here, right? Like Medicaid just got cut. Sorry,
Drastically.
I don't mean to make this super political, but I'm just kind of drawing parallels.
Yeah.
Uh, but I feel like you can't read Sunrise on the Reaping and not. I think that's Suzanne's whole point. But
Right.
like Medicaid just got cut, and what do you hear people talk about? They're like, oh, well, people shouldn't be taking advantage of the system and like trying to steal food stamps. And it's like that's such a small part of the problem,
Mhm.
and yet you're turning, and that's what they do. They turn you against other people as opposed to
Mhm.
turning
Them.
people to the actual problem, and that's
Mhm.
what they're doing here too.
Yeah, absolutely. 100%. I really like was like, whoa, why did I not? I didn't even, that wasn't even on my radar. But as soon as I read your question, I was like, oh, we have to have this right now. So thank
Well,
you so much.
and the other thing too, sorry, like the other thing to think about too is like everybody's like, "Oh, I'd stand up against them." Like I would totally, and we want to think that, right? But like they very intentionally were like, "Cool, well, we're gonna randomly pick two kids, two of your children. So probably you shouldn't speak up." And that is keeping people quiet too. That was very intentional too. It's not adults, it's children for a reason.
You make a really good point because everybody here mentioned if they had children or loved children in some way, that was their top concern. They took their most vulnerable thing that they knew that would cause them to obey and conform and used it to manipulate. And it's sick. It's crazy. Another question that me and you both had, that we both thought was really interesting is hold on one second, I just gotta find it. I don't know how I lost it. I don't know if it was about, let me pull it up really quick because it was on my list. And it was really, really good. I may have taken it off for time reasons, but let's do that. Hold on. Okay. So this is it. And it's on here. You just worded it differently. Do you think the alliance they are forming will be effective? And but what's the best way to have alliances in a game where only one person is left standing? And I I really want to know your guys' thoughts before I chime in. But we'll start back at the bottom and start with Tiff. Since this was your question, we'll have you answer it first this time.
Um, I really want to be hopeful about it, but I'm also reading a Hunger Games book, so I'm like probably not. I feel like it's a big error to try to get such a huge group to be in an alliance. Like I understand the logic. Cool, we can take out the careers, like makes total sense to me. But I think trying to get that large of a group of people, and then when I say it again and I say to get that large of a group of children who are
Right.
not fully logically thinking, like I just don't think that that's going to happen. Um and then I
Unfortunately.
was like, well, like, what would you do in a situation like that where the goal is like everybody has to die except you to win? Like, how do you form alliances with people at that point? And
Right.
I don't know. I feel like it'd have to be real small. Um, like maybe like two or three people that have each other's back, but even then it's like what happens at that point when
I
there's
know, I know,
less
I know. It's disturbing to think about because they're creating, when you create an alliance, you create a bond, and only one person gets out of here. And it's, I really want to know. Nikki, do we have Starla making a cameo? Oh, yes. Okay. She reminds me of Penny Lane, my Jack Russell I had for years. And she's always in the mix, and I love her. She's the mascot. So if you were in that situation, would you want to make those alliances? I mean, do you think they're effective?
I can see how it would be effective to be in an alliance, but I'm the type that like only one person can be standing at the end, so how can you truly trust anybody? Because eventually something's gonna have to give. So I'd be the type to just run and hide. Like I'm by myself.
Yeah. It's hard to become attached to somebody and then have to know that you're going to lose them. And I think
Yeah.
it puts you it could, if you're not cold-hearted enough, put you at a deficit. You know what I mean? Because he's already trying to protect those little birds from District 6. And he's like, God, I hope when we get in there, Haman's just like, I hope they don't think I can protect them. Like he's already not able to look out just for herself.
Wow.
Melody, how about you? Would you want to form it just so that, because I mean, honestly, there are strength in numbers and they are trying to like take this place down.
That's what I was just going to say. Initially, I think, especially as a child, like that would have been my thought, is that there is safety in numbers. But as a kid, I didn't really have a lot of friends. So like I wouldn't have been friends with most of those people, or they wouldn't have been friends with me. I should say that. But I think I'm more like Nikki. I'm gonna go run and hide in a tree somewhere
Mhm.
and just listen for the cannon and
Yeah.
like hope that everybody else dies before me, or I'm just gonna starve to death in that tree.
Hmm.
Because I'm not gonna be able to, like you said, safety in numbers, but after you take out the ones that you're against, all those numbers have to turn on each other.
Makes me sick of what's coming. Makes my stomach hurt. Um, about a month and a half ago, Jameson had said that they were reading it. And I commented and I was like, oh God, I made it through the first three chapters and I was so sick I couldn't continue. It just disturbs me on a core level. I get so empathetic and so attached to these characters. Oh my gosh, and we're going to get to know them and get attached. There's going to be a lot of tears. But yeah, I don't think that you guys know me. I'm the first one to want to die. So I probably would have done what the kid did and ran when my name got called. I'd rather die at home than in the arena. And I don't think I could have. I could survive in that kind of element or kill anyone. I would like to think so, but I'm much more of a flighter than a fighter. Melissa, how about you? What do you think about the alliances? Do you think they could be effective? Do you have any hope?
I think they can until they're not. And that's where I would be thinking is that the minute that I'm not beneficial, are they going to turn on me and, get rid of me because I'm no longer, or like you said, you get down to the final three or four and you're in a group of alliance of three or four people. Now you have to take out, but it does give you an opportunity to learn their weaknesses because you're seeing how they're interacting with all the other people.
That is also another interesting viewpoint. So I wonder if any of the ones that are aligning have a motive
Mhm.
of, well, if you keep your enemies closer than you keep your, I didn't think about that. Oh boy. Jessica, how about you? Do you think that this could work? Do you think like Beatty's idea of like flooding the system, like that was the last thing that we really read about? Is that they're trying to take it out. Do you think like if there's a whole bunch of them, they could take this whole arena out and everybody lives?
The thing is, I don't think it's going to matter if they take the whole arena out. I mean, it's like Tiff said, it's a Hunger Games book. They're gonna punish them in some way, and they're still gonna die, I think. But I mean, I always wonder that like about alliances. So when I watch anything like on TV or like it's competition, and I'm like, but if only one person can win, what are you guys gonna do? Like with the whole like taking out the careers, that will probably work. But then what are you gonna do when you don't have anyone left to focus on? As a group, are you gonna start picking off the weak members? Are you,
Yeah,
I again, I don't see defeating the arena as being effective long term. I I wish it would, but I don't think it'll help.
I can't help but hold on to hope that Hamish can lead them to like take the whole thing down, like burn it to the ground and everybody gets free and there's this huge capital revolt. But we all know, you know, but if I were in their shoes at this point, that would be what would be going through my mind. Like, this is our only chance of us all surviving. Let's try. Jameson, I know, I feel like you're such a fighter. So I'm really curious, but you're also could be severely, like, really independent. So I'm curious what you would want to do.
So I like the alliance, and here's why. um, like because of maybe who I am or Hamish or District 12 as a whole, like we may not win, but we're not going to let the careers win this thing. We're not going to do that because of who they are as people. So my theory, I guess, would be like, okay, we outnumber them. Once that's over, we don't have to kill one another. Like the game makers are not going to let us just sit here. We fight to survive as long as we can, and the last one standing is the winner. Like, we
Yeah,
don't have to kill each other
they
just
don't.
because they tell us to.
You're right.
So the careers are dead, and whoever's left, we go our separate ways and we survive as long as we can.
That's an interesting point of view.
But you also have to trust people to do that. Like,
Mm-hmm.
I, as a human, am not going to let all of my loved ones back home see me make that pact with people and then break it. But I don't know if other people feel that way. So if you attack me, sure, I'm going to defend myself. But my theory would be once the enemies are gone, we just go our separate ways. And if we get killed by whatever
Natural causes.
fuckery the capital and the game makers make up, then that is what it is. But I'm not going to kill you.
Why did I not consider the fact that I don't have to kill anyone? We don't have to partake in that. We can just wait it out.
I think that's just my Myers-Briggs, whatever you want to call it. Like, look,
Yeah.
I'm going to be the extrovert that's going to organize this party, and this is what we're going to do. Are you in or out?
Right, right. That's, yeah, I could get down with that. How about you, Gwen? What is your thoughts on the alliances? Are you on board with the idea of it? Or I often wonder, do you think this is a distraction for them to just find a way to cope with what they're getting ready to head into?
I first want to let Nikki know I love the baby.
Oh my
Um,
gosh, right?
it reminds me so much of Penny Lane. I'm having like little like heart pitter
Oh,
patters. Um, okay, so let me get back in focus. Um, I okay. First of all, I don't want the careers to win at all. So we're forming an alliance to beat the careers. It never occurred to me that we don't have to kill each other. That never once occurred to me. That's brilliant, Jameson. That's absolutely brilliant. My theory was I would pick the next strongest person next to me and make a secret alliance with them that once the careers are all gone, that we become the top alliance together, and then we fight it all out together, and then whoever between the two of us last is the last two. So that's how I would do it. But I watch a lot of Survivor, and I've watched it from season one all the way to most of the seasons, and that's really how you do it. Is you form a big alliance, but in that big alliance, you have a secret little alliance that you have with someone that's your true alliance, and you don't let anybody know that alliance. That's your secret alliance, and that's how you win the game.
that's actually really smart. But I can't watch those shows with you. I get IBS. Like, I cannot handle it. It makes me so upset. Like, but at the end of that game, you get like $1 million. All you get here is your shitty ass life you got to go back to. Like, for me, is it worth it to harm other people to go back to that bullshit? I don't know. I think I'd be like Jameson. I'm just going to sit here and do me. And then this whole thing can go to shit, but I'm not going to change who I am. I'm not going to hurt any of these people. But that is a really good strategy if that's your goal, is to survive, you know? Cicely, how about you? What is your idea? Now, you love community. You're a big community supporter. You got me on board with it. So I'm really curious about these alliances, like what your feelings are.
Okay, I'm a little bit behind in the book, but in terms of alliances in this scenario, is this evil? Probably, but um I personally would take the tactic of setting up those alliances the same way you would do in a street gang, which would make sense because we're talking about children, right? So in those scenarios, you set things up to have somebody that you intend to live at all costs and everybody else being various levels of expendable. So, like for me personally, right? I would be down to clown to go out, you know, to go out.
Yeah.
And I think so in that scenario, I would make the alliance and it would be like, who do we think can live with this? That's
Mhm.
the biggest thing because you have to live with it after it's over,
Yeah,
right?
you do.
I might not be the one, but I can go out helping the person who can live with it get to the end. That's fine with me.
Me too.
Nobody's getting out of there anyway. They're not going to let you live one
Right.
way or the other.
Right.
However, it is that you die, you're going to die. So I'm going to die on my terms.
Yeah.
And if that means I'm dying so that this person that I think, A, can live with this,
Hmm.
even if poorly, and B, maybe turn it into something productive.
Yeah. I
I'm
love
gonna
that.
I'm gonna die like that. So I would make the alliance and then I would set up that tier of who dies. And
Yeah.
if that main person dies, who's the next person down the line? Who's the person down the line from them? And you're just picking who can live with this and turn it into something.
I never even considered that, but
And then
that
just
is,
like roll out in a blaze of glory, like hit
yeah,
it to win it.
I
That's
love
me.
that. I love that. Again, all of you have opened my eyes to whole new ways of thinking. Amber, how about you? I know you tend to be more of a loner, so I'm curious. but here you are in a little community. I'm curious how you would feel about the alliances and if you would be able to trust people.
That trust word, I have a little bit of a problem with that.
You too.
Um, again, like everybody, I want to be hopeful that this alliance is going to work out. But again, we know the story of the Hunger Games. Um, I don't, I honestly, I don't know if I would join it just to take the careers down because I don't want the careers to win. And then I'm going off on my own and I'm going to go hide somewhere and whatever genetically modified thing they send to take me out is what's going to take me out because I can't hurt another human being.
I know.
Unless you come at me and you're going to hurt my mom or my dog and then I'm going to hurt you, but I couldn't just kill someone for sport.
I think a really interesting thing to look at is we all have the divine right to protect ourselves. And supposedly, when faced with death, that instinct is supposed to kick in. So it's either me or you. But adding what I feel very much like you, Amber. But then what Cicely said, it's like, maybe we should pick the best option and I can live with that. I think leaving a mark like that is really good. So we have like 10 minutes left. I wanted to end on a bonding question, something a little lighter. I wanted to ask you guys, I know we all took the personality quiz, but I just wanted to start back with Tiff and see so far, who do you relate to the most? And what is your hope for them? And you can go, yeah, I'm real curious, Tiff.
Um, I think that I definitely I relate a lot, I think, to Maisley.
Mhm.
Um, I said earlier in the chat that like I know people are like, oh, she's like rough, she's rude, she's whatever, and I really just see that somebody that's like insecure and very defensive and very much protected. Um, but I think that like I just get the feeling that she's a lot smarter than what she has shown so far. I think she's intentionally holding her cards back. And she's got some survival skills. So I
Absolutely.
mean, we know who wins the
Yeah,
game
obviously.
because we know. I mean, sorry for those of you who haven't read it yet.
We
We
don't
know
know.
who wins,
We know who wins, but we don't know who survived.
but we don't know. Yeah, that's true. So
Yeah.
very well, she could
Hmm.
survive.
And we're
Uh,
curious.
but yeah, I think that's kind of who I relate to right now.
Yeah, I kind of love her. I
Yeah.
cannot help it. So I'm excited to see what happens in there because I feel like we're going to start to understand where that defense comes from. Nikki, how about you? Who do you really get the vibe of like I really relate to their feelings and do you have like an idea of what you would want to happen?
Uh, I like feel like I can relate to Haymitch. I feel like that test was like 100% accurate.
Yes.
And as for what I hope happens throughout the Hunger Games, my because I read it, so my lips are sealed.
Oh yeah, absolutely. When you said you didn't know who you were, I was like, I could have said who you were gonna get before you even took the quiz. Um, Definitely. How about you, Melody?
Um, I like Maisley's smart mouth. But I'm also a fan of Mags, like
Right?
the caretaker, like I feel like that's the role that I would want to take. I
Hmm.
mean, it'd be hard to like take care of these people knowing at least three of them are going to die, but you do what you can. Like, yeah,
Right,
she is
right.
the safe space.
Yeah,
And I try to be a safe space for people. So I don't,
you are successful.
well, thank you.
Yeah, definitely see that in you. How about you, Melissa?
I think mine was very accurate with Haymitch. And I mean, I don't want to spoil anything about it, but we all know how he comes out. But I think that's very much me, is going in optimistic and hoping for the best, and then the world just kind of beating you down and just kind of coming out tired and worse for the wear. But even in the Hunger Games, after his journey, he's still, despite his
Trauma.
right, and read how he chooses to cope with that, he still cares and he still tries to push through and help the best that he can with all of his broken pieces. So very much Hamish, even though I'm broken and beaten and tired, I'm still going and coping the best that I can in the way that I can. And that's very much Hamish. So
I very much admire that ability in him. Despite all the shit that gets thrown at him, he still rallies around and he's like, we're gonna do it. Whether that's with the fifth of Jack or whatever. Jessica, how about you?
So I kind of have to agree with Maisley as far as I I too do not know when to shut up for my own good. Um, I think that that's how I would act. Like if you're gonna hit me anyway, I may as well make you feel really bad the whole time. Um, but also I think in a little bit, I mean like not I don't know, Amber.
Yeah,
I
yeah,
feel
I
like
love
he's
him.
like just like so quiet with his intelligence, but knows so many varied things. And I think that he is going to be really crucial to what goes on the rest of the book.
I think so too. I think so too. And his dad is brilliant. So, I mean, I think there's a lot of information there. Now, I know, Jameson, you are, I mean, the embodiment of what Hamish is. Like pre-trauma. I think with a little bit of trauma, but I mean, I really see that desire to make things better for people in you. So I'm really curious, who do you like the best? Who do you relate to? What do you want to happen?
It's funny. I immediately loved Hamish when I read the original three books. I immediately, because in the back of my head, I was like, "What? How did we get here? I feel like this is not who you always were. How did we get here?" Um, and I'm not sure. Like, ugh,
Really quiet.
I'm. I don't know. I actually really love Maisie and Wyatt.
Mhm.
Haymitch is probably my favorite person, like favorite character, him and Lenore. But as far as like identifying, like I understand wanting to be more than what people think you are, or wanting to be more than what you. Ugh, it's so hard to say wanting to be more than where you come from without making it sound like you don't like those people, and that's not what I'm saying. I always felt like I don't want to be judged because of where I come from.
Yes,
And so like
absolutely.
that part of that I really get. Like I don't want to give too much away because I can't remember. Like we find out more about Wyatt, I think,
Oh, okay. We haven't
that we
gotten it
probably
yet. Yeah, I'm curious.
don't know yet. But like I just think that like sometimes you just make the best of a situation. I think that's why I like both of those two, and they're so different from each other. Like
Yeah,
being the town girl and then like the scene kid that runs the like one of the Booker boys or whatever. But they're still in that same situation.
yeah.
So
Same
like yeah,
circumstances.
Haymitch is 100% my favorite, but I really understand those two, I guess.
Yeah. How about you, Cicely? I'm curious. I'm almost wondering if you have the same answer as me, so I want to know.
So I got Hamish in the
Yeah.
quiz, and I relate to him in a lot of ways. I think,
Mhm.
like for adult Hamish, I have also fallen in the bottle a couple of times.
Yeah.
I drag myself back out, and I control that super tightly now because my best friend made me promise to when she was dying.
She's still there.
Right. Rude. But I think and so like I work in addiction medicine, right? I see adult Hamish on the regular. I talk to adult Hamish all the freaking time on the clock. I'm like, hey, bud, do you want to talk about peer support? Do you want to talk about trauma therapy? We have trauma therapy. Have you heard of trauma? Can we talk about? You don't have to do trauma with me, but maybe with like a licensed therapist who specializes in trauma. Can I get you an appointment? Please.
Yeah.
Like,
Maybe
so
that's
I'm
why
like,
you're
oh,
able to work with
that's
them
my
so
dude.
well because you relate.
Huh?
Maybe that's why you're able to reach them and work with them so well because you can like put yourself there,
Those
you
are my
know?
people on
Yeah.
a lot of levels, but it's also so sometimes I found when I see them in books, I'm like, oh, this reminds me of this regular that I have at this outreach event, or this cousin that I have, this uncle that I have, this, you know.
Yeah.
Um, but I'm like, I I know this guy as a kid too, unfortunately. Um, but as an adult, like all the time.
Yeah. Yeah. Tidbit of information. I didn't use alcohol, but I used food, and trauma therapy saved my life because I was 400 pounds and now I'm 210.
Listen, y'all, OSU
Mm-hmm.
Star Trauma Program. If you have been the victim of a crime, even if it was never reported, you get that trauma therapy for free.
Yeah. It's
It's a
amazing.
real thing.
Amber, how about you? I know you love you some Hamish, and I can see him all over you. Young Hamish and adult Hamish outside of the addiction issues.
Oh, yes, I can relate to Hamish because, I've been beat down so many times, and you just got to get back up and keep going.
Why I love you so much. Why we relate to each other so much. Yeah,
Yes, and we always try to see that positive, even though someone's beating you down, you still try to find that little bit of positive.
the way to
I
keep
will, s-
going. I
I
think,
will, s- oh,
uh-huh.
sorry.
Go ahead.
I was gonna say, I will say that I'm kind of liking Ampert and the quiet um knowledge and like skills. Because I feel like sometimes when somebody asks me a question, I'm like, oh yeah, maybe let's try it this way. And I feel like people don't realize that I have just, I'm like a jack of all trades sometimes.
Yeah, absolutely. And you are quiet and you don't always
Yes.
speak up, but when you're given space and time, that brilliance comes out, you know?
Yes.
Yeah, I love that kid. I was really drawn to him too. And I think we're gonna like grow to respect him a lot. Now, I think you guys all know before I took the quiz, and I wanted to post it first because I always get a weird result that no one else gets. But I got Lenore Dove, and the more I learn about her, the more I realize why. But she's out completely out of the box, nonconformist, always getting into trouble, but has a passion for things and isn't afraid to show that. And I love the way that she loves. That whole all fire thing just really got me. However, I'm very scared for her, and I'm hoping that whatever happens to her is on her terms. That's the only thing I hope, not something that she's a victim of. And then before we go, let's say hello to Udi and my rat niece and nephews. Who do we have?
And Yzma and Aurora is just now coming out of her little bag.
Oh, yeah, because she loves to sleep. That's why it's Aurora.
Yeah,
Oh, I've
and there
missed
she
them
is.
so much. Hi, babies. Oh, Udi, it's so good to see you, honey. This has all been recorded, so I will upload it as soon as it processes, so anybody that wasn't here can catch up. And then for next week, we're going to read chapter 11 to chapter 22. You'll end at the end of chapter 22. Is that too fast for anyone? Is anybody like, whoa, that's too much? We're good? Okay. All right, great. Well, bye, Starla. Bye, my rat babies. I love you all. It was so good to see you. Thank you, Amber, for coming. It was so great to have a new member. And I'll see you guys all next week. Stay well. Happy reading. Love you. Bye.